The town of Oakhaven was quiet, too quiet. Its silence was broken only by the rustling leaves in the whispering woods, a dark and brooding presence at the edge of town. The woods held secrets, the townsfolk whispered, secrets best left undisturbed. Deep within their shadowy embrace stood an old house, its windows like vacant eyes staring out at the world. It was a house with a past shrouded in mystery and whispered rumors. The house had stood empty for as long as anyone could remember. Some said it was cursed, others claimed it was haunted, but all agreed it was a place to be avoided. The most daring children in town wouldn't go near it, their youthful bravery crumbling in the face of the unknown. The house on the hill remained untouched, a silent sentinel guarding its dark secrets. The house, they said, had once belonged to a renowned artist, a man named Edgar Blackwood. He was a recluse who kept to himself, shunning the company of the townsfolk. They only saw him when he ventured into town for supplies, his eyes filled with a distant, haunted look. His paintings, however, were the talk of the town. They were dark and brooding, filled with a strange energy that both captivated and unsettled the viewer. Then, as suddenly as he had appeared, Blackwood vanished. One day, he was simply gone, leaving behind his eerie paintings and a mystery that lingered in the air like the scent of damp earth. Some whispered of a struggle, of a scream lost on the wind, but nothing was ever confirmed. Lily, a girl of 13 with a thirst for adventure and a spirit untouched by the town's fear, found herself drawn to the mystery of Blackwood Manor. It started with a dare, a challenge thrown down by the older kids, their voices filled with mocking laughter. They didn't believe she would do it. Nobody dared to even approach the house, let alone enter it. But Lily, never one to back down from a challenge, surprised them all. With a defiant toss of her head and a determined glint in her eyes, she accepted. The dare was simple. Spend one night alone in the abandoned house. Easy, she thought, her heart pounding with a mixture of fear and excitement. She would show them all. She would conquer the house and its secrets. As the sun began its slow descent, casting long shadows across the town, Lily approached the house. The closer she got, the colder the air grew. The laughter of the other children faded behind her, replaced by an unnerving silence. The house loomed over her, its windows like empty sockets watching her approach. Taking a deep breath, Lily pushed open the creaking door and stepped inside. The air inside was heavy with the smell of decay, and dust motes danced in the faint light filtering through the grimy windows. Lily wandered through the house, each room a testament to its abandonment. Thick dust covered everything, and cobwebs clung to the walls like ghostly drapes. The only sounds were the creaking of the floorboards beneath her feet and the beating of her own heart. As Lily ventured deeper into the house, she stumbled upon a room hidden at the end of a long, dark hallway. The door was slightly ajar, and a faint light flickered inside, drawing her in like a moth to a flame. Pushing the door open, Lily gasped. The room was filled with paintings, each one more unsettling than the last. They lined the walls from floor to ceiling, their colours still vibrant despite the passage of time. They depicted strange and disturbing scenes, figures contorted in agony, their eyes wide with terror. Lily felt a chill run down her spine, a sense of unease settling over her like a shroud. The air in the room seemed to crackle with an unseen energy, and Lily felt a strange pull toward the paintings, as if they were calling out to her. As Lily moved closer to examine one of the paintings, she felt a cold breath on the back of her neck. The hairs on her arms stood on end, and she spun around, her heart pounding in her chest. The room was empty. She was alone. Taking a shaky breath, Lily tried to rationalize her fear. It was just the wind, she told herself, just her imagination playing tricks on her. But deep down, a primal fear began to take root. Something wasn't right. She could feel it in her bones. Suddenly, the flickering light in the room went out, plunging Lily into darkness. She cried out, her voice echoing in the silence. Panic surged through her as she fumbled for her flashlight, her fingers trembling, but it was too late. The batteries had died, leaving her in absolute darkness. She was trapped. Lily ran to the door, her hands scrabbling against the rough wood, but it wouldn't budge. It was as if an unseen force was holding it shut, keeping her prisoner in the darkness. As Lily's eyes adjusted to the darkness, she noticed something strange. The paintings, once still and lifeless, seemed to be moving. Their colours swirled and shifted, the figures within them twisting and contorting as if in agony. And then she saw it. Her own reflection, staring back at her from the canvas, but it wasn't her, not exactly. This Lily was twisted, her eyes wide with terror, her mouth open in a silent scream. As Lily watched in horror, she realized the other paintings were changing too. They were becoming reflections of her own fear, each one depicting a different stage of her growing terror. Lily understood then. She understood the truth of Blackwood's disappearance, of the house's dark power. It didn't simply hold paintings, it captured souls, twisting their essence into terrifying masterpieces. The house fed on fear, and Lily was its latest feast. She screamed, a desperate, heart-wrenching sound that echoed through the empty house, but it was no use. The house was alive, its walls throbbing with a sinister energy. Lily felt herself being pulled toward the largest canvas, the one that hung at the center of the room. It was empty, waiting for her. She clawed at the floor, her nails scraping against the wood, but her resistance was futile. The house had claimed her. The next morning, the townsfolk found the house silent once more. Lily was gone, vanished without a trace, just like Edgar Blackwood before her. The house on the hill stood as it always had, its windows dark and empty. But those who dared to venture close enough could hear it, a faint, mournful sound carried on the wind. It was the echo of a scream, a final, desperate plea for help. And within the hidden room, the paintings remained, a chilling testament to the house's dark power. Among them, nestled between the contorted figures and haunting landscapes, was a new addition. It depicted a young girl, her face frozen in a mask of terror, her eyes wide with the horrifying realization of her fate. Lily's final scream. The house remained, waiting patiently for its next victim, its hunger never satiated.